So I gave every team in the NBA their greatest players of all time. So if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're uploading one video every single day in December. We are doing a daily December. As to be some of the biggest videos that I will be uploading for the foreseeable future. We're trying to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if we could hit that, that'd be insane. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. And these are the teams that we came out with. The Sixers have got Moses Malone, Iverson, Charles Barkley, Dr. J, Dolph Schayes. Sixers have a stacked team. The Milwaukee Bucks with 99, Kareem, and freaking Giannis, as well as Oscar. Sidney Moncrief, this is a hell team as well. The Chicago Bulls, obviously, with Michael Jordan, the greatest player by far in the history of their franchise. Maybe the greatest player of all time. Cavaliers with LeBron James, Kyrie, Mark Price. Very much like power, small forwards, point guard, centers. Not a lot of two guards on this team. Are there any two guards on this team? We got Austin Carr, and that is it. The Celtics, again, tied with the Lakers for the most titles. One of the best teams in this without question. The Clippers, pretty okay. Not very stacked at all, to be honest. They were a terrible franchise for so long. You got Pau, Marc Gasol, and Zach Randolph. Well, you don't actually have Marc Gasol. You got Pau and Zach Randolph for the Grizzlies. The greatest player in the franchise, in the history of the franchise, isn't there. For the Hawks, you got Nick, Padit Mutombo. For the Heat, LeBron, Wade, Alonzo Mourning. I don't see the Heat having much of a chance. I thought the Heat would be a little bit better. Bosh at 88. I mean, it is fair, but I would have thought Jimmy Butler would be higher than 91, to be honest. I think he's higher rated than that this year. Charlotte Hornets, probably going for the worst team, maybe the worst team in the league. The Utah Jazz, Stockton Malone, Pistol Pete Dantley. Could be a sleeper playoff team, I'd say. The Kings, again, for a franchise that has been as bad as the Kings, even without having Chris Webber, who I'll just put him in for Doug Christie. Chris Webber is now in here with the all-time Kings. I don't know how they managed to get his picture because I don't even think he's in the game. The Knicks aren't actually going to be too bad, to be honest. The Lakers, it'll be between the Lakers and the Celtics more than likely. The Milwaukee Bucks might put pressure on the Celtics in the East, but the Lakers have got like a whole 10-man rotation above 94, which is nuts. The Magic, T-Mac, Dwight, Penny Hardaway, Shaq, very much. Like, they've actually got a little bit of depth. If you want to play Dwight at power forward, they have a little bit of depth. The Mavs, Luka, and Dirk, and that's about it. The Nets have prime Dr. J, Kevin Durant, as well as, is Kyrie there? Yeah, Kyrie's there. Jason Kidd's there. Vince is there. Harden. Oh, like, they're going to be nice. They're really going to be nice. The Nuggets, David Thompson. If Skywalker had, like, a full NBA career where there wasn't the off-court issues, he would be one of the greatest players of all time. The top scorer in the decade of the 80s, Alex English. You got Jokic. The Nuggets could, again, give the Lakers a little bit of trouble. The Pacers don't look too bad, especially because they got Reggie Miller in there. The Pelicans, surprisingly good, I'm not going to lie. Definitely the Pelicans should not have Baron Davis at 92 overall. If anything, the only time he was that good was the Warriors. Pistons are going to be stacked. The Raptors, surprisingly, the Raptors will be all right. Kind of top heavy, though. The Rockets are another team. They're going to be competing with the Lakers for that top seed in the West. The Spurs, very top heavy. They've got an absolutely elite starting five. Manu Ginobili's an elite six man. Not much after that. The Suns, with Charles Barkley there, they're a pretty nice team. Without Charles Barkley, it wouldn't be. The Thunder, absolutely stacked starting five. An absolutely stacked starting five. And Jack Sikma's a really solid center to have in there. But I don't think they're going to give too... I don't think they're going to be the greatest, to be honest. Timberwolves, probably going to be bottom, like near the bottom. The Portland Trailblazers, again, pretty top heavy. The Warriors are stacked as well in the Western Conference. And the Wizards, again, top heavy, but not bad. So I've simulated to Christmas, and let's see the way the NBA is looking. It is the... How are the Clippers top in the West? What? Clippers top in the West. I mean, the Rockets to be expected. The Jazz, I knew they were going to be like this dark horse team. The Kings, the Warriors doing all right. Any teams doing badly that I thought would do well. I thought the Suns would do a lot better. I thought the Spurs would do an awful lot better, being the second worst team in the West. Like, the Spurs team are pretty stacked. Like, this is not a bad Spurs team at all. I thought the Portland Trailblazers would have been a little bit better, because again, they've got a really good starting five with the likes of Sabonis and stuff coming off the bench. But unfortunately, just wasn't to be. So it is the Clippers, Lakers, and Rockets with essentially equal records. In the East, it is actually Boston, who are 29-5, no surprise. But the New York Knicks out here as the second seed. That one is a bit of a surprise. Obviously, the Knicks not too bad. I love how Julius Randle's out here playing the G League, but the Knicks aren't too bad. The Bucks, as expected, doing okay. Same with the Sixers. Any teams? Obviously, Charlotte. Charlotte doing better than the Grizzlies, I guess. The Raptors are doing a lot worse than I thought they would be. The Magic are also doing a lot worse than I thought they'd be. They'd have a pretty stacked starting five. The Pacers, again, with Reggie Miller, probably to be expected. The Pistons, barely in the play-in, is a bit of a shock, though. In terms of league leaders, it is Miami LeBron as the top scorer with Cleveland LeBron as the second top scorer. Dirk Nowitzki is the third top scorer with Luka only averaging 21, 5, and 9, which isn't great for Luka considering what he normally does in these simulations. Oscar Robertson doing well. Jordan obviously doing well. Bob McAdoo balling out for the Clippers. That guy is the reason why they're top of the conference. Any crazy people up there near the top in scoring? And Bob Pettit is kind of mad, but I mean, he was the first ever NBA MVP. There's nobody too crazy up here, averaging like a lot of points. I mean, the fact Bill Sharman's out here averaging 17.2 points per game is nuts as well. So we're now at the All-Star break, and the standings have the Jazz as the best team in the West. The Clippers have kind of tanked the last few months. They're on a one-game losing streak. They're not doing great, but the Warriors are catching up. But the Utah Jazz, my dark horse team, are actually top seed in the West. In the Eastern Conference, Boston are first, New York are second, Philly out there, Miami are up to fourth. Milwaukee are having a bit of a disastrous run down here in fifth. Are there any good teams? Like Jordan's Bulls only in seventh. The Magic in 14th. The Spurs in 15th. That is a shock. The Spurs and Magic are in the freaking tank for Victor sweepstakes. Despite the fact the Spurs are stacked, and the Orlando Magic, I get it, they have two centers, but like, they still have Penny, Tracy McGrady, Dwight, and Shaq. Like, they've still got guys. They've got to start in five to compete with anybody. So it's looking like the Lakers are going to end up as the first seed in the Western Conference. I'm guessing Boston as the first seed in the East, but it's LeBron from Cleveland going to win an MVP. Tiny Archibald winning Sixth Man of the Year for Sacramento. Bill Russell winning Defensive Player of the Year, no surprise. Ja winning Most Improved Player despite the fact that in fact, someone got worse than last year. And I don't know who Rashid Goodrich is. So it's obviously the Boston coach, I guess. But New York, second seed in the East. Philly, third seed. Fourth seed, fifth seed, Milwaukee. Chicago up to fourth is pretty good for them. Cleveland down there in sixth. And the play-in last spot was Detroit. Bottom in the East were the Hornets. The Magic made a half-decent run of it in the end. Only a couple of games off getting into the play-in. But yeah, they didn't quite make it. The Spurs at least got off the bottom. So it was the Pelicans and the Hornets there at the bottom. Spurs got off. Dirk and Luka down there as the 12th seed, which is kind of nuts. A whole 10 games. The play-in, there's 10 game gap between the play-in and the 11th seed, which is nuts. The Blazers in the play-in, the Phoenix Suns, the Thunder, the Nuggets in the play-in, the Kings just about making the playoffs, and Lakers winning 6 games in a row in order to, well, get the first seed by 6 games. The Jazz falling to third. Okay, so in the play-in, it was Denver who lost to Portland, and then Denver beat OKC. So the playoffs are looking like, so Miami got through, and so did Detroit. So Miami versus New York, I think Miami could win that. Detroit against Boston, Chicago against Milwaukee, Philadelphia against Cleveland, and in the West, Lakers against Denver, Clippers against Golden State, Jazz against Kings, and the Rockets against the Blazers. So the Lakers and Celtics both get a sweep. It is the Clippers surprisingly knocking off the Warriors. Sacramento beating Utah, who are the third seed. And this is the big one. This is the Giannis versus Michael Jordan game. Now this one is the huge Game 7. So the Bulls get an early lead. The Milwaukee Bucks are not letting them pull away though, but the Bulls eventually do pull away. It is Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls beating Kareem and Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs. So round 2 is the Clippers and the Lakers. Two teams have never played each other in playoffs before. The Rockets and the Kings. So the Kings go and beat Utah. That's the only upset, was the Kings beating the Utah Jazz. So the Lakers go 1-0 up. The Lakers go 2-0 up. So the Lakers look like they have it. And it looks like it's going to be Lakers and Houston in the West. And Houston go through the sweep. Lakers go through the gentleman sweep. But anything can happen here in the East. So the Celtics are 3-2 up. This one is in a Game 7. The Celtics go up 4 with a 4-2. The Celtics go through with a 4-2 win against Chicago, and it is the New York Knicks against the Philadelphia 76ers. New York versus Philly in a Game 7. And it's Philly that take a bit of a lead in New York. So Philly have a 20-point lead. Philly have a 30-point lead in the end. It was a 40-point win from Philly. That was a close game till the second half. And Philly just go and pull away completely. Like, the top scorer for the Knicks was 12 points. It wasn't great. And, like, Barkley didn't even do anything, did he? Barkley only had 8. Like, they had Barkley going 1-9 and still winning by 40. So it is 1v3 and 1v2. Lakers versus Houston Rockets. The Lakers go 2-0 up. So do the Celtics. This is going to be Celtics versus Lakers. I assume it's going to be Celtics versus Lakers. Maybe Philly are going to come back. Oh my god, Philly could do it. The Celtics were 3-0 up. Could they blow a 3-0 lead at home? It's looking like it might happen, lads. It might. No, it's not happening. Was that a 2-point game? A 4-point game? Oh my god, that got close in the end. But it is the Lakers against the Celtics, with Elgin Baylor for the all-time Lakers going to win Western Conference Finals MVP. Game 1 goes to the Lakers. Game 2 goes to the Celtics. Game 3 goes to the Celtics. Game 4 goes to the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have the lead at home in Game 5. They have a small lead, but it's progressively getting bigger. That's it. That's it, lads. So 18 seconds to go. I'm checking into the game. Is there anything I can do right here? Why we're playing AD at small forward, I don't know. Like, who's playing 2? Wilt's playing the 2. We are playing with 4 centers and Magic Johnson. And if you want to argue that Magic Johnson played at center in his career, you could argue we have 5 centers on the floor right now. We have 5 players on the floor that can play center. That is kind of mad. And Bob Cousy there. JJ Redick on commentary, probably having a mild heart attack right now. With Bob Cousy, the guy who apparently played against plumbers, being on the floor to beat the all-time Lakers. So I actually can't see who's winning Finals MVP because my game is stuck in this animation right here. My game just got stuck. Instead of showing who Finals MVP was, my game just got stuck going over and over again, like on the crowd over and over again. But Larry Bird, when all the all-time teams get together, it is Larry Bird going on to win Finals MVP. With 18, 5 rebounds, and 10.6 assists. That is impressive. What's not impressive, that was 27% from 3. That's kind of pathetic for Larry. But lads, that is it. That is it. The all-time Celtics facing the all-time Lakers in the battle of the all-time teams. And it's the Celtics, even though they were brought to 6 games by Chicago, were brought to 7 games by Philly, ended up going and winning that one very, very comfortably. 4-1 in the NBA Finals.